What's up everyone, John from Beyond ARTV. It's time for another episode of 7 on Sunday. This week we're going to be talking about something just a bit different from the norm on what we do here on SOS. Normally I'll talk about different songs, albums, but today we're kind of What's up everyone, John from Beyond ARTV. It's time for another episode of 7 on Sunday because it's Sunday, you're here on Beyond ARTV. What else are you going to be watching? Today, we're going to be breaking the norm and talking about something just a little bit different than what we usually do here on SOS. We normally talk about bands and of course their music, different songs, albums, and we're kind of going to be talking about a culmination of all of those things today. 7 bands that feature killer aesthetics. My favorite bands that stand out in this category. Now, if you're wondering, John, what exactly is an aesthetic? I can't use Google and don't know what it is. Well, aesthetic is actually something that really just defines your style, your presence, just who you are in a band sense, from your music, your lyrical content, your image, your style, how you appear on social media, how you appear in public, how you dress, the way the lyrics line up with how you dress. And whenever a band can put together a lot of different things and actually pull it off, and it seems like it's not just a gimmick or something like that, cough cough boy bands, the Click 5, etc. Today we're going to be talking about 7 bands that pull it off in very, very righteous fashion. Let's go ahead and start off the countdown. Be sure to drop a like on this video. Let me know some of your favorite aesthetics from your favorite bands in the comment section. And yeah, here's number 7. You might have seen the band members peeking over, but here we are with number 7. I might have made it a bit too obvious. Walk the Moon are my first choice. And you might be wondering, John, why exactly is their aesthetic so on point? What makes them eligible for this list? I've always thought that Walk the Moon did a great job of balancing the way they appear with the music that they make. Obviously, their last album was called Talking Is Hard. It was very 80s inspired, kind of almost glam synth rock, and that's not something that you just use to describe everything. And the image that went along with this played out perfectly. Nick Petrica, the lead singer of this band, started dyeing his hair weird colors, and they started appearing just in kind of uniform type clothing. Not the same outfits, but really just outfits that made them look like they were from that era, that time frame. And even on their debut self-titled record, I felt like they were doing something a little bit different. Their music video for Anna Sun, for example, just really fit with the way the song flowed. And whenever that song told a story, I felt like the music video and subsequent music videos really captured what they were going for there. The words just kind of flow out of them, and that also flows into the stories that are kind of woven into their music videos. And then with Talking Is Hard, obviously one of my favorite records of 2014, a fantastic synth pop alternative album. I really, like I was saying, feel like they pulled off that whole 80s image that they were so nostalgic for. And that nostalgia didn't just bring something old or something just rehashed to the band. I feel like it brought them new life, and it paid off in great ways.
No space, L-shaped Tetris, tile seeking.
My number 6 pick is a keyboard command on a Macintosh computer. I know that might sound weird, but seriously, see if a delta symbol appears next time you press AltJ. AltJ is really unparalleled in the indie scene. They stand out because they're kind of weird. They fall into these trances with their music, and just the art and the visuals that go along with their music videos and stuff. It's so out in left field. That's really a part of their aesthetic right there. They're just kind of the weird ones. They're the ones that will try anything, go there with their music videos. In fact, I felt like I was watching the Hunger Games whenever I watched Hunger of the Pine. Maybe that's why they did it. Hunger Games, Hunger of the Pine. And who else could pull off a Miley Cyrus sample and make it work in the indie scene? These guys kind of have a detailed, nuanced groove to their setup. It's like simplistic whenever they get on stage. There's some light shows, there's some things that they do in interviews, and just obviously the delta symbol that appears as a part of their band. Everything is kind of like stripped down and raw. You feel like you're in the room with them whenever you're listening to their music, and that's not something that you can say for a lot of bands. It's just kind of an intimate experience. I would love to see one of their shows. I've heard they're fantastic live. I was talking about kind of their aesthetic matching up with their music there. It's just just seeing them on stage, you see it like the Red Rocks performance and just how kind of stripped down it is. It's just these three guys up on stage, but the powerful music that they're able to make as a result of that. It's like minimal meets over the top in the best way. It's not necessarily one thing that they're doing with their style or one thing that they're doing with their music, but it all connects somehow, and that's the beautiful thing about their music. It's fantastic. My number 5 pick are The Maine. They're a band that have been around for a while now, over a decade, which is crazy to think about. Almost 10 years since Can't Stop, Won't Stop. I actually got into them back then, and it's just seeing those guys thinking they were just going to be the whole Sainy Weenies wash up at some point. No, they went the opposite direction, are actually turning out some very, very fantastic material. American Candy was one of my favorite records of 2015. And along with that, and of course their album Forever Halloween, I really started to see a stylistic shift, not only in the music, but the way they were dressing and presenting themselves as a band. And they really just introduced themselves like, we are a band called The Maine, and we are performing here. I like how they appear on social media, how they announce things, how they roll it out, and it just seems to be the whole blue suit takeover these days, and I love that. If you guys saw the music video for Am I Pretty, it really just showcases exactly what they're doing these days, and the artwork for just American Candy in general, the different colors of the vinyl and the CD editions. I have the bubblegum pink. It matches. They've got this whole groove going on, and then of course Diet Soda Society, American Candy, it just really all kind of flows together. It's not all about food or anything like that. It's just that they know what they're doing. It's almost reminding me of like the 80s in a way. It's just a metamorphosis from album to album, and I can't wait to see what comes with their next record in 2017.
I still remember how it all came back together, just to fall apart again. My dear, I hear your voice in mine. I've been alone here, I've been alone here, I've been afraid, my dear.
You guys have been asking me to talk about this band for quite a while now, and I feel like I have addressed them in a couple of videos, but I've never really tackled them head on. So let's talk about Law Dispute. This band is very, very poetic, very powerful. The way that the spoken word comes across in their music is absolutely nuts. I don't even know exactly how I feel when I listen to it, but it's just a total encapsulation of the mind. You want to isolate yourself away and actually just play these records, focus on what he's saying. Rooms of the House, for example, a concept album of sorts. He was locked away in a cabin whenever he wrote this record. Everything is about this winter storm coming in and all the communications, or else lack of communications, everything going on, drama, maybe internal, external things bothering him after or before the storm, things that he thinks are coming, just the chaos of the mind and what goes on there. It's an absolutely beautiful thing, and we see that on their previous efforts as well, like their debut right off the bat. That's whenever I started checking out these guys and hearing their music for the first time. I heard a couple of songs and I thought it was really strange at first, but I started listening to more because I had a couple of friends that were into them on MySpace. I heard a couple of songs then, and obviously my girlfriend now is really into this band, started showing me more of their stuff, and I started thinking, wow, these guys are really talented. Picked up a couple of their records on vinyl, and I am absolutely hooked now. Now you're wondering, what does this have to do with their aesthetic? Well, their poetry is their aesthetic. That's what this band is. They might not have a certain thing that they wear or a certain way that they act, but they're just kind of all about the music. It's really not about anything else with these guys, and I love that. Their music is poetry. It's not ever going to be the most popular thing in the world, but they have such a drive behind them, especially for still being a relatively young band. I mean, they're only like 29, 30 years old. They've been active since 2004, pushing across great records since 2008, a couple of solid EPs that I've heard as well. If you guys have never listened to them before, I highly recommend doing so, because they just have this really strong vibe all throughout. It makes it very connected. There's a lot of stories that are pulled from other people's lives and just real life events from people that they never know, and it's like they get inside of the head of someone, and it's absolutely nuts. Their lead singer is such a talented lyricist, and whenever you can do that, apply these songs not only to yourself, apply to others, right from all different perspectives, you're truly talented.
I'm not your friend! I'm not not your lover. I'm not your family. Yeah.
I think you guys are all pretty familiar with me talking about my number 4 pick, but Brand New are next on my list. They're never a band that have cared too much for putting themselves out there in the world, but that's also a part of their aesthetic. They're kind of the guys in the corner, hiding in the shadows, lurking, waiting to drop that next great project on you. And trust me, we are all waiting for it, especially after the unfortunate announcement that there will be no brand new record in 2016 like was originally promised. And am I saddened by that news? Yes, of course, but I saw it coming from a mile away. Fortunately, I bought my ticket to see Brand New live, playing the entire record, The Devil and God Are Raging Inside Me. That's going to be so cool for me. And The Devil and God, I really feel like, is really where they started to just nail this dark pattern. With Deja, we knew that they were getting there and they were changing out of their first record, Your Favorite Weapon, moving away from that to some darker themes. And then with this record, we started seeing, holy shit, these guys can write some killer tunes. They take tragedy and they take events in their own life and they put them into songs and they just have it flowing out of them in a kind of poetic way. It's really weird to think about in a sense, because the way that they can put words to music and just capture the spirit or the mood or just the haunting presence of maybe a former life on this earth, it's absolutely unreal. I don't even know how they are able to pull it off sometimes. The guitar tones and just the drumming and the way that they can build these big brooding atmospheres, and then finally this huge fiery payoff on some of the tracks, or just simple ones that are really laid back and kind of relaxed and hit with their lyrical content. That is why this band is on this list. It's all about the music. The lyrical content hits home so hard, and obviously these guys are just the ones that I'm going to call on my list the ones in the shadows. Watch out, because you never know when they're going to strike next.
I'm so sad. I wanna die holding hands, running from this world demands all those radio bands.
Sorry, United States, but my top 2 picks are both from overseas, in fact, the UK. Creeper are my next pick, and as you saw from the picture that we used for the transition slide there, they have a very strong image about them. I feel like purple and black are really strong colors with this group. 6 members, a lot of people in this band. You'll notice all of the symbolism used on their jackets and just how that blends into their music. Their music sounds like a combination of maybe like AFI meets Jimmy Eat World. That's how I describe them to people. Kind of have a dark gothy feel meets punk. Creeper are still a relatively small band at this point. They need your support. Maybe you missed my episode of 7 on Sunday, smaller bands that you need to know. Now is the time to check them out. Brand new single, debut album just around the corner. I love their Instagram teases leading up to the album's announcement, and of course the lead single, Suzanne. It was just really interesting. It played out almost like a murder or something was going on. They're always very shady and suspicious on their Instagram account, always teasing things there. Twitter, Facebook, I'm sure I don't follow them on there, but just their presence online, it kind of makes you wonder, and I love a good mystery. It's kind of like the marketing scheme leading up to the latest season of American Horror Story Roanoke. It's one of those things that keeps you in the dark, but you're so wondering that you're just like, I have to check this out at this point, and I think they did a great job building hype.
Enjoy all the things going on in my mind. Taking over my life second time. I don't have the capacity for fucking you meant to be helping me.
You guys probably saw my number 1 pick coming from a mile away, but here we have the 1975. Seriously, nobody is fucking with their aesthetic. I said that in a video once and I'm saying it again here now. Maybe I'll put that on a t-shirt. We saw it from their first album. These guys are very minimal. They keep themselves at a distance and they keep things once again mysterious, and I like that edge to a band. They have the spaces between everything they post on Instagram, Facebook, any social media. They go through blackout phases, like before their second album was announced. And then whenever that album came out, they switched their aesthetic from black and white to color, and vibrant color at that. Pink and white is the new thing, and that's all about their new record and just what lies within. I can't wait to see these guys. I'm seeing them live for the second time, and this is going to be the first time on this new album cycle. So it's going to be an interesting transition. Last time I saw them on stage, they had a big glowing white box on stage, like the album cover for the self-titled record. Now, I don't know exactly what to expect. I mean, I saw a live performance of them at Coachella, and just everything that was going on there. Maddie seems like he's as hyped up as ever, and I love the energy that they're just playing with, the vigor in their live performances. He has a great stage charisma about him, and he's very unique because he's still very much a rocker at heart. You know, those 80s rockers that were just all drugged up all over the place, kind of crazy with their antics? That's kind of Matt Healy in a way, because he has it under control at times, but you also kind of have to think he's a loose cannon. But that doesn't really fit with their music in a way, because it's just like, okay, he seems kind of collected, but the more you listen to the lyrical content on it, you're just like, wow, this guy might just be losing it. And you'd see songs like The Ballad of Me and My Brain, and it fits perfectly with exactly what he does on stage, the way that he gets into his concerts, and just the image, the things that they present themselves with, the way that they dress, everything about this and their aesthetic is absolutely perfect. I know this was a little bit different for an episode of SOS, but I do hope you enjoyed my video on bands with killer aesthetics. Let me know some of your choices in the comments section down below, some of your favorite bands that have really cool aesthetics, and of course leave a like on this video to let me know that you enjoyed it, and if you would like to see more episodes maybe in this vein, you have suggestions for other similar ideas, sound off in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe while you're here, because friends don't let friends go and subscribe, and check out the last episode of 7 on Sunday or a recent review that I did by clicking on those little annotations. You can find me on all of my social media. It's found over here, or else the links are in the description down below if you'd like to check that out. And if you want to catch up on past episodes of 7 on Sunday, there is a link in the description to check all of those out. Thank you so much for being here today, and I'll see you next week on 7 on Sunday.